Hi guys, so we've got Carl Ross-Walker here from Team Shift. We've just finished locals for the day. There's about 40 players and he went 8-0 with the new Swordsoul deck. So Carl, take us through the deck.
Okay, so I actually played the Tenyi Swordsoul variant, which I think is just miles better than the pure variant at the moment. The Tenyis just give you a lot of extenders to be able to play through boards alongside like droplet and talents as well. It means you can just OTK going second through quite big boards. But yeah, to start with, we've got 3 Ecclesia. I've seen a lot of people with the Tenyi builds running just one of this because you can't add it back with things like DP going to the grave. But I just think being able to choose which starter you want and also having the Cyber Dragon effect to just special as extenders is really, really strong. Next up, 3 Moye, the best level 4. Not much to say on that one. And the other 3 are 3 Long One. I was at one point playing 2 of this, but I think you just want to see it in your opening hand to be able to make Baron to protect against hand traps. So playing 3 of this. Also with the Tenyis, you play a lot of different things that you can use to pitch for it. You can get tokens for the Ashuna and things like that for the Tenyis. It's just strong. And then 2 of the worst, level 4. I mean, it's still good. You can use the grave effect of this to send off Moyes so that you can revive them and get extra bodies on board. But this on its own doesn't do anything, whereas Mo's much better in that regard. And then to round out the Swordsoul stuff, we've got 3 Emergence, which is just a search spell of the deck, the Rota, and 1 of the Reborn for the deck. I wasn't originally playing this, but you do need this for certain combos to summon out Shooting Riser Dragon in the mirror. And it also helps to end on Dragite against decks like Striker, where you can obviously negate spells and traps with that. And then just the 2 trap on here. I think 2 is correct. There's some times where you want to banish this from deck to summon a token, and Icarus is just a blowout against quite a lot of the decks. So that's the Swordsoul part of the deck. Next we have the Tenyis. It's quite an extensive package. Playing 3 Ashuna, this is the best one. Summons 1 from deck and then locks you into worms, but the whole deck is worms, so you're not really too worried about that. 3 Adara, this one adds back any of your banished worms, but sometimes you can use the Tyre from earlier to banish your engine and then add it back using the Adara later. And then 2 Vishuddha and 1 Shathana. So the reason this is good is you get to end on Monk with Shathana, and then you can pop it with your own Blackout, and this triggers when you destroy your own cards. So you get an extra pop with this. There's some combos as well where you want the level 4 to be able to use the token to make 8s. And then, oh yeah, also the 3 Vessel as well. This is just a +1, sends 1 and adds 1, but the one you send summons, so really, really strong card. And then for the non-engine, the only hand traps in the deck, 3 Ash. I was considering triple Imp to play around things like talents, but the things that Ash hits is just insane, like Doll Fusion, Red Eyes Fusion. A lot of the cards that Imp can't quite hit, it's really strong against, and any of the pops as well. Speaking of, playing 3 Desires, you play 3 of all of the good cards, so it doesn't really matter what you banish. You can often use this at the start of your turn to just bait an Ash and then play through anyway. And then the board breakers, we've got triple droplets, triple talents. These are really strong all day. Just being able to like bait something, hand knowledge, yeah. Being able to just look through the hand, rip something, and then carry on.
Especially because you'll know what to negate.
Yeah.
So
yeah, exactly. And even droplets being set, being able to get rid of a Tenyi off your field just to negate a monster is fine most of the day. Chaining it to Desires, getting rid of that and negating something was just really strong. I think this is a staple in any deck right now.
Seems really strong.
42nd card was called by. Well, it wasn't the 42nd card, but I wanted to add the Reborn spell and Shathana, and I couldn't find anything to cut. Call by was really good all day.
Yeah, it's super versatile.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool.
The deck doesn't really struggle with hand traps, but it's still nice to have Call by for things like Ray or Schism summoning.
Yep.
Onto the extra decks.
Yep.
So we've got the 2 Yugioh and the 1 Tenyi. Wouldn't up or decrease, increase or decrease the ratios of these.
What do these ones do then?
This one's your like engine extender or starter sometimes. Adds a Swordsoul card from your deck to your hand or banishes a Swordsoul card from your deck. So obviously you can use this to banish the trap to summon tokens. And then he's basically a Veiler while he's on the field. And then Tenyi is the one that you always go into when you're locked into worms with Ashuna. But he's still pretty good. If he would be destroyed by card effects, you can banish a card instead. So you can use that with Blackout. and save him from being destroyed by that. And if a card's banished, you can banish one from field and one from grave. So it's good for outing things like Dragoon or DP, things that are in the grave like that.
Cool.
He also gets really big because he gives himself 1,000 and drops all your opponent's monsters. Sorry, he gives himself 100 and lowers all the opponent's ones for 100 for every banished card. So after Desires, he's getting a K boost and lowering everyone by a K. So he's one of the ones where you can just push for game.
Yeah.
Next to the other two 10s, we have Baron, which is just mandatory in the deck. It's the one that you always want to try and go into to play around Nib and things like that. There is other ways, but this is the best way. And then Ruddy Rose for banishing things out the grave. Particularly good against things like Eldritch, where you just don't want them to have resources for next turn. And then we have the two Baxia. You play two because you want one for going second and blowing up, bouncing cards and clearing boards. Also, there's a way that you can use the Baxia to summon back Adara and make a light chow thing, so you don't get nibbed, veiled, gammed, ogred. And you can also just use this, spin some things, and then pop itself to re-summon back when you level 4s and make something else to push the game.
Cool.
It's more of a gateway into other things, and then the Yazi as well. You can just use this with Tyar, banishing a spell to reduce its level and then summon 7s. And then this obviously pops a card and floats into the other level 4. And then the last 8 was Berserker. Again, another 8 to make going first when you're locked under worms. This one's also really good against Token Collector in the side, because you can make this first using your Tenyis before they use the Collector. Then when you summon the token, you can use this to banish the Collector so they don't resolve it. And Dragite was honestly really, really good. I thought it might underperform, but with the Reborn spell, you can use it to summon back and add extra layers of protection through things like Talents. And then we have the Chowfang as mentioned. This is only useful for the Baxia to negate lights. Didn't come up today, but didn't play any Drytron or anything like that. It's just game if you do it against them. And the Riser as well. This is only here to send Token Collector for the mirror, but when it comes up, it's game winning. And then obviously the deck locks you into synchros mostly, but there are times when you can summon some links. You need these for the Tenyis. I haven't found that I needed 3 Monk, and then the Shaman comes up quite a lot actually, being able to resummon some retro deck stuff, or playing on with just Tenyis in the mid to late game.
Cool. Alright, so to the side deck, then we'll wrap it up.
Yep, so lastly, Triple Droll. I think this is just mandatory for Drytron, for Birds, for Doll. It's just really, really strong. Protoss, so there's combos you can do that search this, and then you can hit Darks against Phantom Knight or Dragon Link, turns them off for the turn. You can do it against the Mirror for Waters, so you don't get to summon any tokens, which is pretty good. And even against Bird Up, you can pop your own Baroness and stop wins, or pop your own Tyre. They may sound bad, but as long as you get a turn against Bird Up, you kill them the next turn, so even if you have to blow up your own negate, it's fine. The one Collector, as I mentioned, for the combos with Riser. And then I'm choosing not to respect Lord of the Prison, this, the hand trap for back row decks. So I'm playing this instead of Evenly, just because I value the battle phase really highly in this deck. Yeah, I mean, it's for back row. 2 Mystic Mine, this is mainly for the Mirror. Because I found that Dark Ruler, they still have like Blackout and stuff, whereas if you activate Mine against the Mirror and don't set any other cards, Blackout has to pop 2 cards, so they can't get rid of this, and they shouldn't have any other cards to out it.
Cool.
It's also good for against Phantom Knight, so if you Dark Ruler Phantom Knights, I mean they've already scythed you, so you're not really doing anything, whereas Mine you can just sit on it until you can actually play, and the scythe's already been used up. And then the one Duster to go with the Storms for back row, along with the one Reboot. Niche scenario, but this can also be used for the Featherstorm that maybe Bird Up plays. I'm not sure I'd side it in for that matchup though. I didn't see it all day, I didn't side it in. I didn't play against many back row decks. And then Order for going first, still just a blowout card, just wins you the game a lot of the time. And then 2 Judgment. So this was either anti-spell or this, but I just wanted this instead for things like Evenly, or even just negating Engine if they don't have any blowout cards against me.
Cool.
And then that was it, so 42 main. But yeah, there's genuinely nothing I could cut. The deck
no worries, it looks like it
overperformed today.
Well. Yeah.
Genuinely, yeah.
8-0 really strong. It's a competitive locals as well. There's a lot of good UK players that attend, and so yeah, great stuff, Carl. Thanks for introducing us to the deck.
No worries. Thanks, guys.